You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio on ESPN Radio 1700. Now, live in studio, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family, your business can benefit from current events and from the conflicting media reports as well. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family, your business can benefit. I think I said that already. It's pretty bad when you even know the script and you say it over and over again. Holy cow, that's... Jay, I must be catching up to you in age or something. My senility is catching in. Most of all, thank you for joining me. That's the most important part of that. Before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guests and repeat offenders, both of them. Laura Meier, Meier Law Firm, welcome.
Thanks for having me back.
Glad to have you with us again. Jay Kaplan, the educated retirement guru.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome back
Good
as
to be here.
well. Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And of course we are celebrating today. You've got to be really careful though on a day like today when we are celebrating, because there are 4 celebrations for today. And when you have 4 celebrations, you have to be very, very careful in how you represent them. Because the first one we celebrate is National Grand Marnier Day. Now, when you have National Grand Marnier, when you have too much of that, you better be careful, because sometimes you slip into this problem, because today is also National Nude Day. So now we don't want to tie the two of those together, and then when it gets even worse, Jay, you're going to love this one. Beyond National Grand Marnier, National Nude, we celebrate National Tape Measure Day. Now, that could be a serious problem when you've beaten anorexia like me. That is a serious problem because you finish all of that with National Hot Dog Day. Don't know how you put all of those together, but I will leave that to your own imagination, and yeah, we'll stick with it from right there. We're not going to go too far with that one. We did see that today we did have the 30-year fixed rate loans were announced. The survey, Freddie Mac came out with the numbers once again. Actually, there's been a number of numbers, no pun intended. Several numbers that have come out this morning, but Freddie Mac's survey, 3.42% 30-year fixed rate loan paying a half a point, 3.42%. We're getting closer to what I shared with you, because we should be right about 3.27. is where the number should be if we take history and use the U.S. 10-year Treasury, which is at 1.53 right now, add the historic margin of 1.76, come up with about a 3.25, 3.3. So we're getting closer to the correct number. Again, we talk about the U.S. 10-year Treasury because it is a leading indicator to the mortgage market. We also talk about Germany. I guess you're going to almost get all your money back if you buy a 10-year bond. And Japan, they're still lagging. You're not going to get all your money back when you buy there. Interesting information. Dow Jones up 144 points today because we did see that there were only 250,000 people that lost their jobs last week. Ouch! Ow! Yeah, that's what I just said. The Labor Department did report that prices at the wholesale level rose 0.5%. I think they like that idea because the economists, forecasters were projecting a 0.3% rise. And if you take the food and energy out, I wonder how they do that. It always baffles me when I look at this report each month. Taking out the food and energy. Well, if you take food and energy out, gosh, you don't get to spend a whole lot of money at the end of the month, do you? Just a thought there. That number's up 0.4%. Getting a little political right now. It's kind of fun watching. We've got the Republican National Convention coming up, followed by the Democrat National Convention coming up. I have to share this because I did find this humorous. Jay, you might appreciate this one. The lineups were announced for the speaker announcements for the convention, for the Republican convention. They haven't announced all of them for the Democrat convention, but they did say that Elizabeth Warren was granted the opening night address. Hillary Clinton is giving the closing address. And once again, Bernie Sanders, they gave him the wrong address. Yeah, he might not be there. Well, it'll be sap and see what happens there. Interesting information. We are a little humor there, Jay. I know that we don't always see eye to eye politically, but that one, the humor we can agree on, right?
Oh yeah.
Actually, when we watch both of these candidates, there might be some serious humor when we watch both of them. It is amazing listening and seeing where we're heading right now politically. But that's not what we're here to chat about this morning. We are chatting the markets. Yeah, they continue to jump on us. Why? Well, we saw Alcoa came out with some a good earnings report, so maybe that's why the market is jumping up. Or could it just be that we're starting to see some corrections and the market never moves in one direction straight? And we're seeing right now, again, the Dow at 18,515. 18,515. And I wonder what is causing that when we see 250,000 people getting first-time unemployment, or filing first-time unemployment benefits for the week. I know. We talked last week that the economy created 270 or 280,000 jobs for the month, yet we lose 250,000 a week, and we think that that is good. Yeah, I wonder about that.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, bad feeling about it as well. We're going to see where it goes. Now, we already know that we've got more of the same with Hillary Clinton. She told us that. We've got change, good or bad, we don't know, with Donald Trump. We saw that. And it'll be interesting to see where the markets go. I know we did see something, and I think, again, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. I tweeted this out this morning. Did you see any of the ESPY awards last night? Yeah, maybe they're going to move that over to MSNBC Hee-Haw. They might get a better audience over there. But it is generally the Wednesday following the All-Star game. The Wednesday following the All-Star game is, I think, one of the only days of the year when there are no professional sports on television. So they created this crazy thing called the ESPY Awards, and we got a interesting perspective last night. I just saw the replays this morning. I can't stomach watching the whole thing. It makes me ill when I see some of these guys. And they opened the broadcast off. And again, if I was there, probably would have turned it off in the first 5 minutes. You have Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Chris Paul, and Carmelo Anthony. Okay, now I've told you I believe the NBA is rigged. Very, very simple. We see LeBron James can cry about anything and he doesn't get a foul. And Chris Paul is only playing for the Clippers because David Stern didn't want him going to the Lakers. Only time I can remember in my lifetime when the commissioner canceled a trade that had already been done. Yeah. So what are they talking about last night? About Black Lives Matter. And to me, I'm colorblind. I couldn't care less. Black, white, yellow, green, it doesn't matter. They're all the same. But they're the NBA stars promoting these felons who shoot police officers or get in trouble, yet they never once mentioned 5 police officers who lost their lives protecting this Black Lives Matter organization in Dallas. Not one mention of those officers, but they can talk about the crooks. Interesting. And Dwayne Wade, you see about his character. The city of Miami supports him forever. And because Chicago was willing to pay him $47 million over 2 years, he left Miami, who offered him $40 million over 2 years. Now, I don't know about you. Most of us are never going to see $40 million in our lifetime. We might not even see the difference at $7 million. I don't know. But think about that. He didn't stay with the people that were loyal with him, and people want to know why they don't support some of these guys. Just amazing to me. I will get off my soapbox. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we get back, crucial questions most home buyers don't know the answer to. If you are a young parent, do you need a will? Do you need a trust? We're going to talk about that. Personal finance columnist changed his stance on reverse mortgages. Why would he do that? Well, maybe it's a good thing. We'll talk. Remember, you can reach us anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1, Ron Siegel the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
What if your family business could help clothe a less fortunate family? Or your restaurant could feed truly hungry people? What if you could help to comfort the lonely? Plant sustainable resources where nothing has ever grown before? Or make a child's lifelong wish come true? What if all you had to do was simply do nothing more than what your business already does every day? Would you do it? Introducing Processing for a Cause, a unique program that turns a percentage of your business's credit card volume into ongoing donation dollars for nonprofit organizations and foundations. Simply switch your credit card processing provider to Processing for a Cause and begin supporting a worthy cause today. The process is simple, and the cause will change lives forever. Processing for a Cause.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel Radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text PAIR, P-E-A-R, Professional Equity Analysis Review, to 79564. One of the area trusted real estate professionals will reach out to you, give you the true amount of equity there is in your property. 3 crucial questions most home buyers don't know the answer to. The question is, do you? Whether you're considering the purchase of your first home, trading up to the home your family fantasizes about, or maybe it's getting a smaller home you're right sizing. I never said downsize. Well, I guess I just said downsizing, but right sizing. You should know all these things. Number one, what is the minimum down payment required to purchase a home? What is the minimum FICO score required to qualify for a mortgage? What is the maximum back-end debt-to-income ratio allowed? Fannie Mae did a survey and they wanted to find out, do you know those answers? I might do that in a Waters World or something. It'd be funny if you're a Fox News fan like I am. So here it is, minimum down payment. Many people, 40% don't know the answer. The minimum credit score required, 54% do not know the answer. And the maximum back-end debt-to-income ratio, 59%. Do not know that answer. Those are all Fannie Mae numbers. Those are not Ron Siegel Radio numbers. I couldn't do that big a survey. Fannie Mae did it. So here's the answers according to Fannie Mae. Minimum down payment, 3%. We know there are some down payment assistance programs. Minimum credit score required by Fannie Mae is 620. There are programs that will go down as low as 500 that I know of. Maximum back-end debt-to-income ratio, according to Fannie Mae, is 45%. They also will say right from their website, up to 50% with compensating factors. So now you know the answer to those three crucial questions. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment, again brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text PEAR, Professional Equity Analysis Review, to 79564, and we will get you the true equity position of your home. You can't make a good decision, an educated decision, without being educated. Seems pretty logical to me, but I'm just a simple guy. Talking about being educated, I'm going to chat this. I'm not going to talk to you right now, Jay. We're going to talk to Laura. We'll get it. We're going to get educated now.
You said educated. I understand.
Laura Meier's in the house. Meier Law Firm. Obviously, I have good fun with Jay. We banter back and forth. Chatting. Best-selling author now.
Yeah. Thanks.
Wow, that's pretty. What's the name of the book?
Good Parents Worry, Great Parents Plan.
I like that.
Thank you.
I've had some fun. I've had the pleasure of going and watching some of your seminars, and it's amazing watching some of the younger parents that are taking action, or at least getting themselves educated. You know, obviously I can't tell if they follow through and get the trusts and a will and those things, but at least seeing a full room is great, that young parents are out there looking and so I guess I kind of gave away the fact that young parents, should they have a will and a trust?
Absolutely. And with estate planning, so often the conversation is geared towards the elderly or the wealthy, or we hear about, Prince dying without a will, and it's focused on celebrities. But when you think about it, young parents, they have dependent kids that depend on them for their physical care, financial care, from taking them to junior lifeguards to paying their tuition, all of those things. And they really, if something did happen, these kids can't wait for courts to take 12 to 18 months to sort out, how they'll be provided for and cared for, during a probate process. They need plans set up in advance that will address those situations.
So I guess that for the simple guy like me, that poses a question. If something happens, and I've been a big proponent of the fact that we don't always know when we don't know. I mean, you can look outside our window and there's a freeway out there. There's going to be a car accident today, right?
Well, let's not put that out there, but yeah.
No, I mean, just the statistics are there's going to be a car accident. And I would venture to just guess that whomever's in that car accident didn't wake up this morning with that as being their plan.
Right.
Right? But they may have young kids, and you were mentioning the idea that, or the concept that if there are young kids, and something catastrophic happens, 12 to 18 months, what happens to the kids for that time period?
Yeah, so this actually happened to a family a few years ago in San Diego. The husband and wife were killed in a car accident, and they left behind 3 young boys. And they didn't have their planning in place. So what happened following that is the kids were temporarily placed in the care of strangers. And then for over a year, the family had to go through a court process where the aunts battled in court over who should be the guardian. So what we learned from that is, when you don't have planning in place, you really do create excessive turmoil for your family, for your kids, that can be mitigated through proper planning.
And I would suggest it's probably one of the most emotional times they're going through anyway, right? I mean, you wake up in the morning and everything is good. Mom made breakfast or dad made breakfast, and you go off to school and find out at the end of the day at dinner time, we don't have mom and dad anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, we get those calls all the time at the firm. People that didn't even know us will say, hi, I lost my mom on Monday, and now it's Tuesday, and they're going on Google trying to find an attorney, realizing that on top of losing a loved one, they now are getting thrown into a nightmare process trying to clean up everything that wasn't addressed in advance.
I've used this term in the past, and I don't know whether you consider it the same. Or I look at a trust almost as, even though it sounds morbid, but it's a gift, right? I mean, you're giving a gift to those that survive.
And maybe it's the industry I'm in, but to me, nothing says I love you more to your spouse than when they take care of your finances and put money in your retirement account. To me, I think that is better than any piece of jewelry or flowers that you can get.
Amazing. So the title of your book, Great Parents Plan, what do you mean by that?
Well, we all grew up hearing, oh, my mom was such a good mom. She always worried about us. And I have 4 kids. I worry about them, of course. But really, we don't want to just be good parents who worry. We want to be great parents. And what that means is, instead of worrying, we take action to address what our worries are and create plans. So with estate planning, we don't need to always just worry, oh, what would happen to my kids if something happened to me? Instead, we can take that to say, I'm going to be a great parent. I'm going to meet my legal and moral obligations to my kids, and I'm going to put some plans in place.
So PLAN is actually an acronym.
Oh, like yes, that. It is.
I see That's that on some of the notes here. I like that. That's a pretty interesting acronym.
Yes, yeah, PLAN. So
protection, I see, is number 1. So talk
about and with the protection, it's really making sure, especially if you have minor kids, that their physical care is completely taken care of. That means you've named permanent guardians who can take over for you if something happens to you and you can't finish raising your kids.
And legacy?
Legacy is one of the most overlooked yet important aspects of estate planning. A lot of times a conversation gets focused around money, but really estate planning is a chance for you to look at who are you, what are you hoping to accomplish in this world, and what is a legacy you want to leave behind for your loved ones.
Accessibility.
Accessibility, that comes into play where you set up your planning so all of the money is accessible for your family during their lifetime, and it's not tied up in courts or in blocked accounts.
Necessity.
Necessity is every single adult in California needs some form of estate planning. If they don't, the state steps in with their own plan. So there's a strong need for everybody. They don't always need the same level of planning, but everyone needs some type of plan in place.
So when you talk about that, I mean, obviously we watched and we've seen a number of situations. I mean, the best plan, I think, just because I'm a finance guy, George Steinbrenner, he had one of the best, right? He actually had a trust and died in the year when the estate tax was unlimited, right?
2000, was that 2010 he passed away?
Something like that, yeah. I mean, I know it was that year, so his family gets billions of dollars and they bypass the death tax. And then obviously you've got the other end of the spectrum is we're watching right now real life with Prince.
Yeah, exactly. And,
right?
and that's a situation which is so sad because, let this man die and rest in peace, right? And now you have people coming out saying they're his kids. You have all of these half-siblings, and now you have new information, we don't know what it is yet, coming from a law firm out there about him. So there's so many questions now that could have been avoided had he just had his plan in place.
So if he had a trust, does that help us avoid the publicity? I mean, does that maintain secrecy?
Yeah, that's why a trust is great because, wills are publicly filed. So when someone passes away, such as a celebrity, that's why you go on TMZ and you can see their will. When you have a trust, that's all private. It isn't disclosed to the public, and people can't go see what people have.
So just another reason, if you like your privacy, that gives you a good reason there. And you know, if you want to put it all out there, I mean, today is National Nude Day. So, I mean, that's we're not going to go that. Got to tie these things together. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events, celebrations, and the financial markets. When we come back, personal finance columnist changed his stance on reverse mortgages. We'll talk more with Laura Meier about wills and trusts, 55-plussers. Poised to have significant impact on the housing market. Remember, you can reach us anytime. Call the off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But you can catch the replay, Ron Siegel 1, Ron Siegel the numeral 1, on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel lending team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel lending team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel lending team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL lendingteam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Are you ready to overcome your biggest blocks with money and time? Your solution? Big Profits Now World Summit. The best skills and strategies to double and triple your business profits without doubling or tripling the work. This summit has gathered 24 experts specializing in business growth. It's a free online event that's happening now. Go immediately to claim your free ticket at BigProfitsNowLive.com. Enter your name and email and receive these free video interviews directly to your inbox. Again, that's BigProfitsNowLive.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel lending team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel lending team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 0186945.
37% of American homeowners believe they have over 20% equity in their homes. Fannie Mae tells us 69% of American homeowners have over 20% equity in their homes. Fully 1 in 3 American homeowners are not informed about the amount of equity they have in their homes. Are you one of them? How might this be holding you back from achieving your goals? Text RSR CMA to 79564 to get a property valuation from one of the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Again, to know how much your home is really worth, simply text RSR CMA to 79564.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by your household board of directors. Very simple. Every major corporation has a board of directors. Why don't you? Think about it. All you need to do is text ATP to 79564, complete this online survey, and we'll introduce you to the board of directors that you need. Maybe you need a real estate professional, mortgage professional, real estate. Maybe you need to meet an attorney, trust attorney, bankruptcy attorney, family lawyer, insurance, credit repair, CPA, tax planner. They're all part of the board of directors, and it's free. The introductions cost you absolutely nothing. Text ATP to 79564. So do you know who Elliot Raffleson is? I'm not even sure if I said his name properly. He is a financial columnist that works for the Chicago Tribune. Now, I guess it probably looks the way it's spelled here, Raphaelson. We'll just call him Elliot, because that's easy for me. I'm a simple guy. But for the longest time, he did not like the reverse mortgage, also known as the Home Equity Conversion Mortgage Program. He did come up and finally changed his mind based on, interesting enough, regulations and changes in the program that took place by the Federal Housing Administration in 2013. Now, I'm going to suggest to you that there's been a significant number of changes since 2013, but the biggest questions I get at ronsiegelradio.com about the reverse mortgage is, am I going to lose my house? And the answer is that law basically changed in 1980 something into the Reagan administration, where you don't lose your house unless you do a couple of things that'll cause you to lose your house anyway. Like, don't pay your taxes, and don't pay your homeowners, and don't pay your property, your insurance, don't maintain the property. Well, that's going to happen if you have a forward mortgage, a reverse mortgage, or no mortgage. You better pay your property taxes, or Uncle Sam or Uncle Jerry are going to come and get it from you, one of them. So laws changed, but in 2013, Elliot came up with this concept that now he believes there are good points in the reverse mortgage. He believes that they're cheaper to get now than what they used to be. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And there are some financial benefits. Surprise, surprise. Have we heard that anywhere before, that there are financial benefits to the reverse mortgage?
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Yeah, that's what I would say too. So we're going to chat a little more with that in depth, and maybe where some of those financial benefits are. That is the Mortgage Minute, again brought to you by your household board of directors, the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Again, text ATP to 79564. So we do have our Ron Siegel Radio reverse mortgage guru in the house. Jay Kaplan is here. TheEducatedRetirement.com is the website.
It is.
I like that idea. So I've been saying that one of the beauties is I can actually manage my taxes using a reverse mortgage.
Correct.
Tell us how.
Okay, let me just give you one story.
Okay.
And you can take it from there. I have a friend that who lives in Bel Air, actually, and got one because he's looking to
low-income neighborhood.
Absolutely, we don't discriminate.
Exactly. Okay, good.
And just like yourself, and was looking to do some investing, continued investing, because he's got extra money now, which he's investing and doing very well, better than he thought he was.
He's got extra money?
That's
Ron at RonSiegelRadio.com. You can send that by PayPal if you want.
That's a very, very good point. Is it extra money? Well, it was his money that would have been otherwise locked up in idle equity.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now, that idle equity, whatever it is growing anyway. So, by taking some cash from it, from a line of credit, or in this case, it was a purchase, that money is still based on an ever-growing asset, the home.
Right.
So any amount of interest he would be paying by not making payments on what he took is, in his mind, my mind, and many other economists, being overshadowed by the amount of the appreciation. Now, that could change any time in the future. So he made a decision to look at it again in 5 years, and if the same appreciation were not happening, would start making payments. The thing that happened...
Wait, you start making payments on reverse mortgage?
Yeah, you can always make payments. You can pay it off at any time. There's never a prepay penalty. You just choose each and every month or each and every era like this fella, you decide what's better for you, putting the money into the house payment or doing something else.
Okay.
You know, one thing you should, you take a little money out and you go get a trust. That's for sure.
Yeah,
right.
Better make sure.
That's the first thing I talk about when I tell I don't do that. I don't do trusts, anything like that. But I always make sure people have them. If not, go get one. But back to my story. This fellow in Bel Air made a lot more money than he thought he was going to make this year. So he's probably going to make. He's got to talk to a CPA, etc. Make a certain measured amount of payments, probably a couple of years worth of payments this year, because that will translate into a plus as far as the taxes and his personal income is concerned.
So let me make sure that I understand this. He went several X amount of time of not making any payments. He accumulated interest that he wasn't paying, but that accumulated onto the loan balance.
Correct.
Now he's made some money and he's facing a tax liability this year. Or he can make the payments on that interest and take an interest deduction. It's his choice.
Right. I got another story too.
I like that's to make it even simple for somebody like me.
Yeah, and me. That's why I can explain it even.
So he's gonna be able to minimize his tax liability, which is in essence gonna increase. Now, once he makes that payment to bring down the balance on his reverse mortgage or his line of credit on that mortgage, can he take that money out again at a later date?
Absolutely.
So that's his option.
That's part of a line of credit. Okay. And in this particular situation, this was a purchase. The extra money happened because instead of paying cash, there was no line of credit to begin with. But as he puts more money in, he can increase that line of credit. So I have another story, because I like stories.
I like them too. Okay. Now, is it another Bel Air story, or is there one for the rest of us?
No, it's a Palm Springs story.
Okay, so we got all kinds of income levels in Palm Springs.
This fella, because of his between Social Security, pensions, this, that, and whatever, was taking home about $19,000 a month. Not taking home, I should say. He was getting.
Nice. Okay.
Which is a decent income. He's even older than I am, if you can believe that.
I didn't think anybody was.
I didn't either, but in any case, so what he decided to do with the help of a CPA and all that good stuff is to take a monthly check. Now, this is the only time I've ever heard of anybody taking a monthly check from a reverse mortgage. I know most of the advertising you see on TV is pushing that, but that really is not necessarily the best way to do it. He took about $4,000 per month on his multi-million-dollar home. Okay, that's tax-free money. And yes, there is a payment on that, which he's not making, so yes, that's accruing. But because of him taking or dialing down his taxable income by the same amount, he could keep spending and having exactly the same lifestyle, overall pay less taxes, which still put him ahead of the increasing loan amount on the home. So
I think what the important thing that I'm learning here, Jay, sounds to me like it's a combination, because each of the stories that you've shared with us have a common theme. And one of them, most of the common themes that I'm taking away, I like. I get to pay less taxes. I'm in favor of that. But the other thing that sounds very consistent is, and we didn't even talk about this ahead of the segment, is I'm a big proponent of the household board of directors.
I know, and it's a great idea.
Right? And what you're saying there is, in order to minimize taxes, maximize your income or your yield or your return, and the use of this tool, which is all a reverse mortgage really is a tool, you need to be in connection with, number one, the reverse mortgage specialist, yourself, that understands this.
Thank you.
CPA and financial planner, tax planners, and the estate planning attorney, so that you're dealing with everybody together to work on a uniform, as Laura put it earlier, plan. Right? I mean, everybody's talking about the same thing, as dealing with a plan to succeed. And no one's coming up with any concept here of not paying your obligated taxes. or doing something that's fishy in any way. We want to do everything totally above board.
And speaking of death and taxes, I know a new concept for us here. Let's say yourself in 50 years when you become 62 and you get a reverse mortgage and you live another 40 years. When you pass, let's say you haven't made a single payment.
Right.
Okay.
I like that idea.
Right. You've taken the money and you've bought like a fourplex to increase your legacy and things like that.
We're going to have to save that story, Jay. We're going to have to save this one until we get back, because you're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. We're going to finish that story about me being 62 in 40 years. I like that idea. Yeah, time stops or something. We'll talk more about that with Jay when we come back. Talk more about trusts and wills with Laura Meier when we get back as well. You can reach anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Isn't it time you found out the truth about FHA-insured home equity conversion? No, it's not your grandfather's reverse mortgage. This just may be the finest financial planning strategy available for all homeowners of retirement age. Helping protect what you've earned is the job of your board of directors with continued education. Major research has shown that using a HECM will significantly enhance the success rate of a retiree's portfolio and legacy. Please allow us to educate. For your complimentary consultation, call J. Kaplan at 949-300-3855. That's 949-300-3855.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com, or simply call 800-306-1990.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRE NMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 0186945 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Word on Wealth segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report and it is wrong. The reason I can say that is I've been looking at these reports since about the 90s, 80s, 90s, and I've never seen a completely accurate report. Never. So why do you think yours is? Just a question for you. Credit Sanitizer, they've got the solutions. The question today, or the commentary today, 55-plussers poised to have significant impact on the housing market. 55-plus homeowners looking for affordable, retirement-friendly homes. Here's what they look at as being the most important issues. 46% affordability, 44% amenities, 41% less maintenance, 31% proximity to family, and 30% no property care. That's all according to a Freddie Mac survey. I'm kind of surprised that 31% is where they look at for proximity to family. I would have thought that would have been a lot higher, but maybe that's just me. That's the great report here. If you want the copy of the report, again, it's a Freddie Mac report. Just drop me an email, Ron Siegel Radio. I can get you a copy of the entire report. That's the Word on Wealth segment, brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. So before the break, Jay, before I cut you off so we can make a little bit of money, yes. You're talking about one of your stories there about another reverse mortgage.
Yeah, you think I can remember that far back? Where was it? Oh, yeah, you.
Because I was turning 40.
Yeah, the only thing I was going to say is when you pass on, I know you're not planning on it, but
I have
when
no plans.
you do,
George Burns here, I'm going another way.
When you do pass on and you haven't made any payments on that home in 40 years,
right?
Your heirs will be able to take the tax write-off for all that 40 years worth of interest, if laws stay the same, of course, parenthesis. And
wow. So your heirs get to write off the interest,
right, when the loan is paid off.
So whomever pays off that loan, whenever. Right. Interesting. Well, that poses a whole lot of other questions that we will get to a different day, because I want to spend a little time also chatting with Laura Meier, because we got the book out, and you focus a lot on young people.
Yeah,
seems to
parents of young kids. Mm-hmm.
There was a document that when I went to the last seminar that I was at of yours, and you were talking about a document that every parent should have. I think it was the child something or another.
Was it instructions to guardians?
That might have been it.
Okay.
Talk about that a little bit. I mean, what is it? What do we all need it?
Yeah, so when we think about estate planning, a lot of times we think about the legal and financial aspect, but we really need to think about the practical aspect as well. So, for example, if parents name a guardian to raise their kids, that's great, and they've met their legal obligation, but it's really important to give instructions of what do you want for your kids? How do you want them to be raised? Everything from should they get a phone at a certain age? When should they get a car? Are you college bound? You know, and those kinds of questions. And a lot of times people don't do that. And so what the parents want for their kids gets lost when they pass away.
You know something, I wouldn't have even thought about something like that until you mentioned it. I mean, my kids are older now, but you know, as far as the schooling and methodologies, right? I mean, because that's a whole different world. You think, okay, well, I named, you know, my sister, my brother-in-law, whomever, to take care of the kids, but I would have thought you just drop it right there.
Yeah, and it's important too to document your wishes that, you know, if you want your kids to continue to see both sides of the family after you pass away, put that in writing so the guardians know that's important to you, and they can really evaluate what you want before they agree to take over.
So do you suggest that you consult with the guardians before, when you're writing this?
You know what? I typically tell my clients not to tell someone that they've picked them as the first choice for guardian, primarily because that decision changes. Parents change their mind. They go to a Christmas holiday, they call my office and say, there's no way I want my, you know, brother-in-law anymore. And so to avoid kind of hurt feelings, we just say, you know, you can mention it, but that's why you need to pick more than one choice. So pick a first choice, a second choice, a third choice, just in case your first choice declines or they don't really want to raise your kids the way that you've instructed.
So you have those choices in there, and then you're letting the legal process take it from there as far as if somebody declines?
Yeah, you're kind of letting them make a game time decision at that point if you've passed away to say, do I really want to be the guardian, and will I be able to raise these kids the way they'd like?
So I'm going to throw a hypothetical at you here because, I went to a couple of your seminars. I see a room full of people, great locations, and I don't know, my guess is that probably 100% of the people did not get a will and trust set up at most of the events. I mean, if you have a 100% batting ratio, that's awesome.
That would be awesome, yeah.
Right? But I mean, for the most part, why do you think people will put off setting up an estate plan?
Well, first of all, when people come to a seminar, they're doing a great job just to get educated, and that is a first step towards creating a plan. And then everyone's in different stages. Sometimes, more often than not, I'll tell people, I don't think you're quite ready for a certain level of planning. Maybe you just need to name guardians, and for now, get some life insurance and leave it at that. So not everybody who comes to a workshop is ready to do a full trust. And for some of them, they might not be on the same page as their spouse. They might be moving out of a state and want to wait. There's lots of reasons they put things off. But my message to them is always, maybe you don't need a full trust set up right now, but do whatever level of planning is necessary for your family right now. Don't put that off. And you can always add as life changes.
Well, it sounds to me like the best part of it is at least you're taking step one.
Step one,
right?
Yeah, and for any parents listening, step one is always name permanent guardians for your kids, and then a close second is get life insurance so there's money left behind to raise them.
And again, that household board of directors. So what do you recommend for parents who can't agree? I mean, right now we've got a big issue. I mean, Orange County, the last number I saw, 70% of first-time marriages end in divorce.
Oh, that's too bad.
Right, I mean, it's horrible, but it is our society, and then you end up with two different parents, and they don't agree all the time. Heck, I've been married for 29 years, and I don't agree with my wife all the time either. I just give in.
Yeah, so for divorced parents, they can each name a guardian for the child they share in their own estate plan, and it'll probably be different. So that's where you get the first to die type situation. So you don't have to agree with an ex on who should raise your child if one of you passed away. You can both set that in your own plan.
Okay, so, and even with parents there's not a divorce situation.
Yeah, so, and that's common. A lot of times parents, when they're married to each other, they don't agree. And a lot of times, and I wrote about this in the book, it's a lack of education, so they're not sure how things would play out. And then also it's too emotional.
Right.
They'll say, the wife, and this is very common, the wife wants her mom or her sister, and when it gets down to it, they're not able to provide that child the kind of life that the wife actually wants. And so it's taking a step back and really thinking first about what kind of life and environment do you want your child to want, to have, what's most important to you, and then matching up, okay, who in our life can bring that and offer that to our kids.
Well, that brings up a kind of a question that I raise frequently from a political standpoint, but it kind of applies here too, is if my wife and I agree on 30, 40, 50, 60% of the plan, can we go and get that portion done and leave the other portion out until we do come to a consensus?
I think you can, but I think that's where working with a skilled attorney who's coached couples on this frequently helps, because a lot of times people will come in and say, well, we can't agree on guardianship, so we're just not going to address that. And I'll tell them, I've sat with hundreds and hundreds of couples who haven't agreed on guardianship, and by the time we're done, they do. And so a lot of times that's where that more objective process comes into play, where they get guidance from a third party to help them talk things out.
Then one other question I would have is, how frequently do I need to revisit the will and trust once we've created one?
Yeah, so we kind of give the guidelines of every 3 years, kind of for a well check, if you will, similar to a doctor, or sooner if you're sick, meaning something has changed. Maybe the people you picked as guardians have moved. Maybe the person you wanted as a trustee has now, divorced your brother and is outside of the family. So anytime there's a major change to anyone in the plan, you should relook at the plan, and then just every 3 years just to make sure it's up to date.
Make sure that we've got all the legal issues all.
Yeah, and that what you said you wanted is still your wishes.
And I guess when you're dealing with a professional, such as your firm, I think it's gonna probably weed out the emotional change where, like you say, I got in an argument with my brother and I'm going to take him, I'm not going to include him in my will anymore. Well, maybe that time frame between that time and getting the appointment gives you enough time to cool down. And
a good attorney is not going to let you pay a lot of money to act rationally just to change your mind a week later. In fact, when people come in and they're really emotional, we usually have them take a couple weeks and sometimes just see a therapist and then really decide if that's what they want to do.
Great information. We like to share a lot of good information. We appreciate Laura Meier coming in, Jay Kaplan coming in, and we want you to set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
Why are your San Diego County Honda dealers always sunny? Because